Darley Australia is launching 2 new stallions this season. Animo, the 9-time Group 1 winner as featured on Bred To Win a few weeks ago, and Paulele, a great fit in Victoria at Darley Northwood. A stunning looking racehorse, he had huge popularity not only for his looks but his great racetrack performance. And it's wonderful to see so many people out here at the Victorian parade for Darley Start, and so many great horses for them that have really attracted probably some people that haven't been here before, as well as the regulars.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. We've obviously got our regular supporters that come and get amongst the day, but there's been a whole lot of people today that have never been to our Victorian Stallion Parade. So a lot of interstaters here, a lot of interested parties, so trainers, which was great to see them as well. So it's really cool when the trainers turn up because they get that feel for what the stallions are, and obviously the stock that they may already have in their barn or the stock they're going to be looking at yearling sales. So from that point of view, it's been a big success for us.
I just loved seeing some of the, Street Boss, obviously the sire of Animo, or you see Kermadec, and the wonderful things that he's done for now so many years. And then the international horses, your Blue Points and Gayards and Earthlights and so on. It's such a wonderful mix.
It is. It's a really good roster. There's eight stallions here, and it's great to have Street Boss here, sire of Animo, and Animo's career started here at well, he was conceived here at Northwood Park, and then to touch on, Kermadec is sire of 4 Group 1 winners, a really good value stallion. Blue Point was one of the most exciting prospects we have going at the moment, and started off extraordinarily well in the Northern Hemisphere and sold particularly well this year. And so yeah, and then to obviously add in our new boy Paulele. So yeah, it's great to show them off, and great that everyone's so enthused and so engaged in what we're doing.
Yeah, I think Paulele, watching people just around him with that lovely fuzzy sort of forelock, and he's such an eye-catching horse, isn't he? And of course he got the Group 1 in the Winterbottom, but he was a Group 1 horse right through his career, really.
Oh, he is. If you go through his race record, he mixed it with the best sprinters in the land all the way through, and we weren't shy in putting him in the deep end. He's a place getter and a TJ Smith. He was a very, very good 2-year-old in his own right, a brilliant 3-year-old. And then to top off a weight for age win in the Winterbottom. Every time he came off the training track, he just has charisma. He's such a dude. He's got that centre part of a forelock. He's got character, and he's been one of my favourites in my time at Godolphin. Very excited to see him here at Northwood Park.
From your point of view as the boss of Darley here in Australia, Chatoyant, who's there at Darley Woodlands with Johnny Sunderland, a retired broodmare now. There's so much history in the family of Paulele that so many people within Darley and around Australia would be so pleased to see him now standing at stud.
Yeah, and what you're touching on there is exactly right. The generations that we have with our horses, whether it's through the sideline or the dam, and a lot of them go back to the Ingham's days, the Woodland Studs days as well. And that's the thing that really engages our employees, all the Godolphin team. And somewhere along that journey, they've had something to do with every horse. And when we can retire a Paulele or an Animo to stud, everybody in our team has had their fingerprints on them at some stage, whether it's getting the mare in foal, foaling the mare down, educating a young horse, the foundational education of getting horses to the racetrack, getting the horses through the racing system, and whether it's a Carbine Lodge or Crown Lodge or Osborne Park, and then ultimately getting into the marketing team and marketing them here on Stallion Parade days. So everyone in a blue jacket gets spring in their step when you can do that. Our retired mares, they have a happy long life, looking after the weaned foals, and being sort of grandmothers, if you like. So it's all that generations, bringing that all together is very, very rewarding.
Andy, Paulele really has kind of not a cult following, but a real following, doesn't he? He's one of these really gorgeous colts on the racetrack, and he's transferred that now into being a beautiful looking stallion.
He's a lovely horse, always was. Beautiful foal all the way through, obviously a Godolphin homebred, and lovely from the start. He had great ability early doors, twice a Metropolitan winner pre-Christmas, which I always like to say, if he was a Magic Millions graduate or an English graduate, He probably runs favourite to Magic Millions, runs favourite in English Nursery. So high quality, high class, good looking as you mentioned, and yeah, we're delighted to have him here.
King of Sparta the outside, but Paulele's going great guns.
Of course, the 2-year-old stakes win. He won a kindergarten stakes himself too, so he ticks that box as the stakes winning 2-year-old too.
Yeah, it's a race we won with Bivouac and Astern, so nice sort of launching pad for a young colt who's obviously got great precocity to be able to do it over the championships at Randwick and then launch into their 3-year-old year.
Paulele's off and gone.
And I guess races like, the Rosebud, the Eskimo Prince, the Roman Consul going on, those are the races all the good colts fight out.
Very significant 3-year-old races. Races like the Roman Consul, won by the likes of Exceed and Excel, Fastnet Rock, Zoo Star, Brazen Vogue, Russian Revolution. So proper stallion defining race.
Paulele bursts through, takes the lead.
He was a well-travelled horse. So, when you're talking about stallions and their temperaments, this colt, of course, winning a Scalacci Stakes in Victoria, raced in Queensland. What was he like through his racing career?
We saw him here today. He's so relaxed. He's just very chilled out, calm horse. And I think it's testament to his temperament. He's very sound of mind, very sound of body. So you're looking at a horse who's a group winner at 2, 3 and 4. And he competed in Queensland, Western Australia, Victoria, New South Wales. So he could go everywhere, anytime. And even in the end, James Cummings was quite keen to train him on as a 5-year-old. So he's retired sound, which is a great attribute to have. A horse who's won 8 races from 24 starts. He's a well-travelled, tough, sound, durable racehorse.
Look at Paulele, kiss on all 4 cheeks, Paulele.
And of course the Group 1, it's so much, you really want these colts to win those Group 1s, don't you? And he did achieve that, of course, over in Western Australia in the Winterbottom Stakes. So again, that's a big venture for a horse to be able to go over there and win at the highest level.
It was well deserved. He was always Group 1 class. We had an unlucky run 2 years in a row in the Manikato. He was going to start very short favourite as a 3-year-old. Got a temp, was put back a week, ran in the Coolmore instead. And the year after his short price favourite, the Storm came. And they called the races off and they came back the day after, you recall. So he had his opportunities at various times at Group 1 level, but certainly that was well deserved, the Winterbottom, and it was a slashing victory.
In terms of his pedigree, it's quite a fascinating stallion line. You're talking about Dawn Approach, by New Approach, you're talking about Epsom Derby winners, but of course, Dawn Approach winning the Coventry, the National. He went on, won the St James's Palace, the 2000 Guineas. So this horse is going to have offspring that are going to be able to get out as 2-year-olds and train on.
You'd think so. That Galileo Settlers Wells line's obviously a prolific line. You bring into play that Urban Sea blood and the Fairy Bridge blood, and then on the dam side, really interesting, you see Rolls and Best to Show. So he's an amazing horse to breed to. So there'll be a lot of mare owners out there that will start to identify these little nicks, and I think he's a stallion that's going to be really interesting for a lot of broodmare owners.
And as a Group 1 winner, of course, homebred for Darley, it's always an interesting thing where these stallions are placed. Why does he fit into the Victorian breeding scene?
I think with that juvenile performance, he fits really well with that Vobis system, the Vobis side race. I think Victoria also was crying out for a new horse here. We didn't have a new one last year. Animo seemed to fit nicely in New South Wales. So on balance, bringing Street Boss back here and launching Paulele just seemed to be a really good mix for us. And he's an exciting horse and a good looking horse. We always liked him from the start. We always envisaged him to have a stallion career somewhere. We were desperate for him to tick off the Group 1, which he did. So in a way for us, he's like our Spirit of Boom, where he's out in a coney. He's a well-travelled, highly consistent, highly sound horse that I think will really suit the Victorian breeders.
And the Victorian operation, it really is important, really globally to Darley Godolphin.
Oh, huge. If you actually analyse where the money's being spent from a breeding perspective, a lot of it's coming out of Victoria. A lot of very upmarket or boutique mare owners are here in Victoria. The spend is significant. So our operation here at Northwood Park is a very strong and important arm to what we do. And we support it with some very, very good stallions, and obviously a lot of our best horses have come off this farm as well. So we're here to stay in Victoria, don't worry about that.